to shave their hair. And he repeated that 3 times. Somebody was asking him, well, what about those who cut their hair, just trim their hair? He repeated his, asked Allah's blessing for the one who shaved their hair. And the man kept asking him. After the 3rd time, then he said, okay, may Allah bless those who cut their hair. It's indicating that the shaving of the hair is much more highly recommended. And for those of us who have great attachment to the hair, then it becomes even a greater act for the person. Because, for those of us who spend a lot of time in front of the mirror, making sure the hair goes this way, and, so when they go to make Umrah or Hajj, they only want to clip a little bit because they don't want their style and so on. So this is a test for them, especially. For those of us, it doesn't really matter. Of course, it's no big test, but inshallah, the reward is with shaving the head, And involved in there, you see, is some humility. Because people feel proud about their hair. By removing that hair, this is also some humility, taking you back to really how when you were born, when you came, as you were created without hair. Of course, some people are born with hair on their head, right? But in the initial stage when they're being formed in the womb, it's without hair. The hair is something which comes later. And it's really of no consequence. When you die, does it matter whether your hair was long and nice and curly or however? It doesn't matter. These things really are of no consequence. So we should try our best not to get involved and tied up in that. If we find, for example, if you're spending 15 minutes in the morning, combing our hair, then we know something is wrong here. For the Muslim, he should not be caught up in this kind of thing. It's better to trim your hair down to a point where in the morning you just do something quickly and you're going. You don't waste time in these kind of things. You shouldn't be wasting time on vanities. So after making a sacrifice, we shave our hair or clip it. And at this time also it would be good to clip the fingernails and, toenails, shave the hair under the armpits and around the private parts in possible. Then also. For those who do not go on Hajj, they are told at home, those of us say, for example, we don't go on Hajj, they are encouraged to make a sacrifice in its place. They make a sacrifice on the day. That's on the 10th day of the Hajj, right? On the 10th day, we make a sacrifice. But if we're not able to make the sacrifice, because of lack of money or the animal that we have, we need, for example, for the milk for our family, whatever. Those of you back in the Philippines, when the 10th day of the Hajj comes, which is the Eid, right, you should make the sacrifice if you can. If you can't, instead, you clip your hair, shave it or clip it, and your fingernails, toenails, trim your mustaches, and shave your pubic hair around the private parts in the underarm. This is what you do in place of it. In terms of the fasting that we mentioned fasting before, we had certain days that you're not allowed to fast. It should be known that fasting, should not be done on the 9th of Arafah, on the day of Arafah, or on the 10th, right? But during the 11th, 12th, and 13th, especially for those who are on Hajj, who are not able to make the sacrifice, although they made the intention for the Hajj along with the Umrah, but they don't have the money to make the sacrifice, the animal is too expensive, then instead they fast. After we completed the shaving and clipping, we can go again to Mecca to perform the major tawaf of Hajj, which is known as Tawaf al-Ifada. We go to Mecca then, and we perform the 7 circuits. It could be on the 10th, right, because remember we spent the 9th day in Arafah, and we spent the night in Muzdalifah, so it's the 10th now that we started our stoning on, right? So on this day we can also go to Mecca, or we can go at night. It doesn't necessarily have to be during the day. It depends on your ability. But if you're able, after you finish plaiting and cutting your hair, you're able to go, you should go there. If you're too weak, for example, the struggles that have been involved you need time to rest, you can go rest, sleep, pray, sleep, and then when you regain your strength, you can go ahead to perform the tawaf. And after completing the tawaf, you pray the 2 units of prayer behind the place of Abraham, Maqam Ibrahim. And at this point, after completing that, we go between Safa and Marwa. So it's almost like what we're doing here, we're doing like a little Umrah in the middle of the Hajj. So what it is really is that, Hajj has in it the rites that we do for Umrah. Umrah is like a shortened version of Hajj, outside of the Hajj time. So at the time when we come here, we make the tawaf, we pray behind Maqam Ibrahim, and we go and make the sa'i, or the walking between Safa and Marwa. This is now called the sa'i of Hajj itself. When we're completed, if we did it, say, for example, in the night, we go back to Mina and we complete spending the night in Mina. And the next day, which is the 11th, we stone, but on the 11th we stone after Zuhr. We wait until after Zuhr and then we go to make the stoning of the 3 Jamarat. We spend the night again in Mina this was actually the night of the 12th, but on the day of the 11th. And we repeat the rites on the 12th, stoning after Zuhr. At this point, we can return to Mecca, make tawaf, what they call tawaf al-wida', or the farewell tawaf, and leave. Or we can spend the 13th day also in Mina. Allah has given this as an option in the Quran itself. For those who wish to go back early, they are allowed to go back after completing the 12th. And those who would like to stay on, they can stay on and do it on the 13th. But the point is that whether you finish on the 12th or the 13th, before leaving Mecca, the last thing you should do before leaving Mecca is to make the tawaf al-wida'. We should make that final 7th circuit, as farewell and leave Mecca. So that completes the basic rites. As I said, the notes have more details, as well as there has in it a description of the Prophet's Hajj itself. Inshallah, you can go over that, get a better picture for yourself. If you have any questions after reading it over next week, we can look at that also. But for now, inshallah, we'll stop here. And if anybody has any questions on what we've covered or any questions on what you've read during the week, please ask the questions now.
You mentioned that after the slaughter, what's the time that you cut to shave our hair?
You could shave the hair before. The hair could be done before the slaughtering.
Or after before?
Huh? Not before the stoning.
But no, what we have done is after the stoning, we shave our hair.
Yeah.
And then I went to slaughter.
Yeah. You can do it that way. Whether you shave the head before the slaughter or after the slaughter, it's the same. No problem. Because the Prophet, some people came to him and asked him about it, and he said, no problem, don't worry about it.
But not before the stoning.
Not before the stoning. Well, of course, when you go to sleep, you should be careful not to take the cover your head, because when you're in the state of Ihram, you're not supposed to cover your head. Right? Of course, some people have gone to extremes on that. You'll see some buses, these big American buses, the Bluebird buses that they built in the States. They have pilgrims who their buses have no top. Right? I don't know if you've seen that. People will drive, and they'll just say, why did you wonder, why did they take it off? Because the idea that you're not supposed to cover their head, they feel that this is included. So they'll drive in buses that don't have a top. No, this is extreme. Right? What it's talking about is you physically covering your hair by putting on a cap or putting the top of your ihram over your head or whatever. This is what you're not allowed to do. Of course, if whilst you're sleeping, you've gone to sleep, you wake up in the morning and you found this thing over you, right? Again, there's no sin on you. You remove it, there's no sin on you, because in the state of sleep, if you do anything, you're not